Hi everyone, so welcome to the second part of the Boxfed magazine maintenance and servicing. I wanted to take one of these apart for you today, so in case you haven't already done it yourself, and then show you the consequences of the magazine follower not passing freely the full length of the magazine casing internally, give or take the spring compression of course, but I'll show you that in a moment. So your particular variant may be quite different in as much as if you don't have this same rib and bolt hold open functionality, yours may have a slightly different version, but fundamentally the principles are the same. It has moving parts, the polymer piece here for the follower, the steel zigzag magazine spring. There is a base plate on the spring, and also the magazine base plate itself. Okay, so let's take a look. Right, so on this particular base plate, and again, results may vary depending on your particular brand, but this particular one has a push button in the middle, quite visible there because of the color coding of the base plate. Okay, so all I'm going to do is push that in and start to slide the base plate. You can just feel it start to give. Now, remembering what I said, on the bottom of the magazine spring there is a plastic plate, and it's only an interference fit, so it's not held on there mechanically. So if I were to just pull this away, everything would fly out, because of course the spring's under tension and the base plate isn't fixed. All right, so what I'm going to do is just hold that tension back with my index finger, slide that base plate off, being careful not to release the magazine spring. Now I can just let that out. It's not at a huge tension, just to say, you know, you don't have to be a bodybuilder to hold it back, but it is under enough tension to cause you a bit of a problem if it all starts flying around. So the follower itself is on the end of the spring, and as I push that through, we should see that come out. Again, it's only an interference fit, so you can see the springs come out without the follower. The reason for that on this particular model is, again, this rib that runs the length of the magazine has got that bolt hold open feature, little device in there, and what that does, it stops the follower moving as freely as it would if it didn't have anything. So it's basically pushing against the side of the casing. So all I'm going to do is just help that out with a aid of a ruler. Right, okay, so I'll just show you what's happening now. So there we are, push the follower all the way through from the top to the bottom. There's the base of the actual, whoops, sorry, let's get in shot a bit better. There's the base of the follower. Remembering that, as I mentioned, that on this particular model there is a bolt hold open feature. You can start to see it just coming out there. Okay, so that is under tension. There's a small spring inside it, and again it will fly off across the room. Ask me how I know. So if I just hold the tension on that one, I can then take the follower out. Let's pop that over there with the base plate. So now we've got the spring base plate, the follower, and this little hold open facility here that is a nice feature, and I use it. But there's the small spring that's holding that in place. Again, it's just held in place by its own tension, so there's nothing physical to undo there. So now we've got the follower. Okay, and this is obviously the top where the cartridges would normally sit, and as the magazine, let me just bring that into shot, as the magazine will show, get it the right way, then that's where it would normally sit. Okay, but obviously inside. Now let's just pop that back in, because what I want to show you, I don't know if this magazine's got any problems. Okay, so this is literally a physical live test. I'm just going to tilt it up and see if the follower slides to the full length of the magazine, and it has. Okay, so this one's considered a good one in that sense. Okay, it hasn't got any dents in it or any damage that's preventing that follower from sliding through. Okay, and it just pops out the other end. So I'm quite happy with that. I don't have to do any work on it. One of the things I've experienced before where there has been either some damage to the casing where it's been stepped on or something, or just through the normal course of wear and tear, that I have to get a suitable piece of wood. I don't want to put anything metal in there that's going to deform the casing, and I certainly don't want to deform any of the magazine casing itself. So I usually just leave a piece of wood in there just to try and lift that. It only has to lift a fraction, really. We're talking millimeters, so a tiny amount to enable it. And of course, don't ignore the fact that it might just be a build-up of crud as well, because these things spend a lot of time on the ground and in kit bags and everything, and they do accumulate dirt. Okay, I can verify that. So when you're actually looking through your magazine, you might actually see some residue in there that you might want to clean and whilst you're at it. But I would say don't lubricate them, as I mentioned before, because that will attract dirt and hold dirt, and then you'll start to get feed issues. Okay, so let's take a look at putting it back together. Again, keeping in mind with this particular one, I do need to remember to put the bolt hold open pieces back in, and there is a small receptacle there. It's just dropped in very nicely for me. We'll pop that. So there's also a hole in that little gizmo. Right, so there we are. So now again I've got that under tension, so I can pop that back in. No sooner that it's in, that's it, it's fine. Okay. Again, this this magazine spring, that again, it's just an interference fit. This magazine spring, if I just hold that carefully, you might do this differently to me, but this is really the way I've done it in the past, and no real problems. Okay, so just making sure that is located. Get it back in there. And there we are, the follower is back at the top of the magazine. You can just see it there. Okay, the spring's pushing through. There's still quite a bit of spring to go, so I'm just going to hold that with my other finger. This particular base plate for the mag spring hasn't got it's not handed any particular way, so it really just pops on there under the tension of that spring, and then I'm just going to pop that back in. Sorry, my hands are obscuring everything here, but I'm just trying to fiddle with this without sending it across the desk. Right, so now we're in a position. If you remember at the beginning, I was holding that tension. We're back in that position now. All we're going to be doing is replacing the base plate. There you go. Let's see what happens if you just lose your concentration for a second. Right, so let's do this. Just pop that base plate on. There we go, and the buttons pop back in. It doesn't always pop back in first time on these mags, I've noticed, but usually a little bit of a poke with the screwdriver will sort that out. Anyway, so hopefully that's been of use to you. It's all back together now, ready to use, and happy days. See you on the range. Cheers.